Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is 10 a.m. Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. This is the regular business meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. I'm Chair Claire Hall. Commissioner Casey Miller is with us, along with Commissioner Walter Chuck. That's a quorum, and that's also the full board. Oh, wait a minute. At the first meeting of every month, we have a longstanding tradition of recognizing people for service milestones of 5 years or more who have been with the county. And we also welcome and introduce our group of brand new hires. So first off, the service milestones is Paul Seitz here, our solid waste director. I don't see him, but Paul has been with us for 5 years. And then we've got a couple of folks in the sheriff's office, each with 10 years of service. Nicholas Vale, I believe, and Jessica Palma. Are either of them here? Yep. All right, well, we will make sure they get a certificate of appreciation and a service pin, and we'll make sure those get to them. And now, Cody, are you going to do the honors with our new employees? Welcome, and please introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Cody Larson. I am the Recruitment and Compensation Specialist for the county. I have quite a list of new hires. I have one person that joined me for the tour, so I'll let them introduce themselves. But otherwise, we also have hired Allie Anderson Brusosco in the clerk's office, Robert Carver in transit, Bronwyn Dean in Public Works, Xanthi Denning in Public Works, Bobby Foley in the clerk's office, Brittany Herline in Health and Human Services, John Holland in Health and Human Services, Marco Ibarra in Health and Human Services, Shannon Messias in the clerk's office, Richard Scott in Public Works, and Megan Torres in the clerk's office. And then this is our new hire.
I'm the one who came on the tour today. My name is Muriel Gordon. I'm going to be in Health and Human Services and primary care as a medical assistant.
Awesome. Well, great. Newport Clinic or?
Newport.
Okay.
Well, probably all three, but
Oh,
primarily
okay.
the mothership is where I hang out.
That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. Ken, you want to get a picture?
Muriel, sorry, you're gonna have to stand by.
Or why not have her stand with Cody?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what Kayleen suggested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Picture. Right.
Very nice, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks to everyone. Next up is the adoption of the consent calendar. These are routine things like approving meeting minutes, contract amendments, that sort of thing, or items that have been discussed at previous meetings. Is there any item on the agenda, the consent agenda, that either commissioner would like to pull for individual consideration or highlight?
Nothing for me, Chair Hall.
Nothing for me, Chair.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion then, gents.
I move we present the consent calendar as presented.
Okay, I second the motion to adopt.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we move to a public hearing on adjustments to the fiscal year 24-25 budget. And I want to ask Lennon Pierce, our finance director, to come forward and make a presentation for us. Al, oh yeah, come on. And at this point, I will open the public hearing on the budget adjustments.
Good morning. My name is Lennon Pierce. I'm the County Finance Director for the record. I'm going to run through a list basically summarizing the approximate budget adjustments to make sure that we can, the majority of them were to prevent overspending so that we don't have to report to auditors for some minor overspendings.
And for the audience here and online, this is a really routine thing we end up doing at the end of every fiscal year, right?
Both private and public. This is a very common thing to occur, is to basically just work to make sure that your budget stays within anticipatory targets, goals, dollar amounts, etc.
Thank you.
Yep. The general fund 101 is increasing $920,496. The vehicle replacement fund is transferring $15,000 from capital purchases to material services. Public's work fund is transferring $410,000 from revenue to capital outlay. The public health fund is transferring $500,000 from personnel services to materials and services. and transferring 20,000 from their contingency to the Development Disabilities Fund. Lincoln Community Health Fund is transferring 1 million from personnel services to materials and services. The American Rescue Plan Act Fund is transferring 1.5 million from the beginning balance into personnel services and into capital purchases of 1.49 million. And the Radio Communications Fund is transferring 150,000 from material services to capital purchases.
Any questions from commissioners?
I can be a little more specific if
okay.
anybody has questions.
Sure.
No, but I
Yeah.
would appreciate that later
Definitely.
for you to continue.
Yeah, and because there was a staff report that was available on the agenda, so I didn't know if anybody had a chance to review that or not. So there's some explanation there. So the general fund, in the general revenue and reserves, there was 149,000 transfer out of contingency and was required to balance the general fund. Department 13 was finance and accounting. There was a $90,000 transfer that was to cover the large portion of the county's audit costs that was applicable to support services in their departments. Excuse me. Department 193, the county agencies, a $25,000 transfer was ensured that the counties don't overspend. The jail services, Department 611, there's $350,946 that were adjusted to reallocate funds to ensure that expenses for medications and services that were provided for opioid abuse is not overspent. Department 910 and Parks, the adjustment increases revenue and expenses by $570,000. The revenues do include almost $300,000 in the TRT revenue and $280,000 in grant reimbursements. Expenses include approximately $10,000 in PT&B wages, and $560,000 goes towards park improvements in accordance with the grant. Department 912, this adjustment moves $40,000 from materials and services to capital outlay to more accurately reflect incurred expenses. No additional funding is required there. Department 913, information technology, there was a $25,000 transfer to cover wages for a PT&B employee to cover personnel. Department 950, there was a $9,000 adjustment to cover purchases without overspending on an equipment line item. So the vehicle replacement fund was a $15,000 transfer between existing department appropriations to make sure it balances. Public Works Fund, Fund 201. This adjustment accounts for an increase in the grant award. Revenues and expenses have been increased by $410,000 and no additional funding is required. For Health and Human Services, in Fund 208, there were savings in salaries and benefits due to a number of budgeted but unfulfilled positions. The department has some under-budgeted accounts and materials and services, and $500,000 of budgeted appropriations from the salaries and benefits were transferred to materials and services to cover additional costs. Additionally, the fund had a budgeted transfer of $35,000 from fleet. However, the revenues received were split between 208 and 220, and so the transfer to 220 was required for them to be able to receive their portion of the fleet for the vehicle replacement. Fund 216, there were savings in salaries and benefits due to a number of the budgeted unfulfilled positions. The department has been filling staffing gaps by utilizing contracted locum providers. The transfer of $1 million of budgeted appropriations from salaries and benefits to the materials and services is to be able to pay the unanticipated costs for the contractual services for the locum. And Fund 220, this fund had not had any budget appropriations for revenue transferred in, but received that budgeted transfer from fleet, or received the unbudgeted transfer from fleet. And this was to cover that for the winter shelter during the fiscal year. For the American Rescue Plan Act, the reallocation of $1.5 million is to prevent any overspending and is due to having contractual obligations required to be in place before 12/31 per the ARPA rules. The amount of the final secured contracts was ultimately unknown until after 12/31/24 and was tracked, and this was required to cover those. Radio Communications, Fund 291, a reallocation of $150,000 was to cover the purchase of new microwave dishes and their installation. And that was all the transfers and adjustments.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or feedback?
Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you for your hard work.
Yes. Thank you, Director Pierce. All right.
No, I'm just getting started if you'd
Oh,
allow me, Chair Hall.
But we need to ask for public comment first, Commissioner Miller.
Sure, yeah.
Excuse me. So we'll invite at this point, as part of the public hearing procedure, we need to give people an opportunity to offer public comments specific to these budget adjustments. We will have general public comment as normal at the usual place at the end of our meeting. So Uh, Mr. Lip, would you see if there's anybody online? If you do, if you're online and you do want to comment about this, please raise hand, use the raise hand function. Okay,
Uh,
yes, Commissioner.
You
Oh.
allowed Commissioner Chuck to make some comments, so.
That's, well, usually we close the hearing and then have commissioner discussion.
We'd
So,
like-
okay. Public hearing is closed and now time for commissioner deliberation and action.
Anything, Walter?
I have none.
Okay. I want to recognize the work that Lennon has done as well. I mean, this has been an unprecedented time in some ways. Commissioner Hall, you had said that, this is routine. We do make budget adjustments. Last night, we had our final budget meeting and we adopted the budget. But, we've got a lot of money moving around here. I think you would probably agree from a historical context that these budget adjustments are rather really pretty significant. One of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, which I addressed in a memo, is taking a look at, the impact, the narrative of the impact, because we've got dollars moving. We're doing our due diligence to, identify and put the dollars in the correct places. But what is that impact to the community? And I just feel like we've glossed over a little bit that we've frozen a number of vacant positions for hire.
So I just want to redirect the commissioners that this is regarding the 24-25 budget amendments.
Yes.
So that's what the hearing is regarding, and it should be just regarding those amendments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when will we be moving forward to
Well,
discuss?
We would have discussion at this point. As for community impacts, again, this is moving money around essentially. The budget is an initial roadmap or plan on how we're going to spend our money. But if, say, one category is looking at overspending, but the department has some other funds available to shift to cover that, I guess I've never been aware of these adjustments having a practical impact on the larger community.
Well, what I would encourage us to
Mhm.
do, and if you'll entertain the idea, is
Mhm.
that moving forward, that we have those collaborative discussions and, talk about those impacts. I'll be making a memorandum, and I just appreciate your support to have those discussions so that everybody understands how the community is being impacted and how our team's being impacted inside. I know we're trying to do our due diligence to make sure that everybody is addressed in the process. So thank you for giving me a moment to speak on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Any further commissioner discussion? We would then be ready for a motion at this time to approve these final adjustments in the current fiscal year budget.
Chair, would you like to go through each one or make a batch motion?
Usually we've done a batch motion.
Okay.
They've all been identified publicly and are part of the packet. So
Okay. And again, thank you, Mr. Pierce, for that detailed staff report. I would move that we adopt the fiscal year 24-25 final budget adjustments as listed.
I'll second that motion.
we have the motion and the second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have discussion and action on the proposed fee schedule. Is Mr. Gardner with us? Or do you have this, Council Yule?
Yep, there's been no changes since the last presentation 2 weeks ago to the fee
Mhm.
schedule.
Okay.
So this would be just a decision action item.
Yeah, I would move we adopt the fee schedule then.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of adopting the proposed fee schedule for fiscal 25-26, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Discussion and information on order accepting an annexation petition. Do you have this, Council Yule?
I do, Commissioners. So this is a petition before you to include a property in the Yachats Rural Fire Protection District, and this is under ORS 308. The petitioner is Katie Bailey. She's already been given preliminary approval from Department of Revenue to include her property in the fire district.
So could you briefly run down the notice if, when we approve, accept this petition, what are the next steps?
So the next steps would be an order approving it. This gets sent to Department of Revenue and they review her petition packet. If it does have the approval of the local jurisdiction, typically if it meets all the requirements, it would get approved.
Okay,
And then her property would be included in that protection district.
okay. Further questions or discussion?
No, thank
I
you.
have none.
Okay, we need a motion to accept this annexation petition then.
I move that we accept the annex
And I'll second that
petition.
motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Where are we going next? Is Heather Tower here? Yes, she is. Please come on up. We're getting a report on the upcoming Lincoln County Fair right around the corner. And Heather, if you would introduce yourself for the record, please, and the floor is yours.
My name is Heather Tower. I am the Lincoln County Fair Manager and the 4-H Program Coordinator for Lincoln County. So those two positions kind of go hand in hand. The fair is coming up. It's about a month away from today. It'll be July 3rd through 5th. We're kind of splitting the difference this year due to the redevelopment of the fairgrounds. We'll have part of it here in Newport where the 4-H kids will have their animals in the barn. And we're trying to fit a couple more things in. Those are still kind of fluid, what will actually be up there, but they've requested like a food truck and some other things to keep the kids busy during the day while they're up there. So they'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably 10 to 6-ish. I'm giving them a little bit of leniency on how long they keep their barn open and just kind of keeping that up to their judgment. And they're normally there for 12 hours during a normal fair, so I'm giving them a little break this year. They will have their market auction as traditional on Saturday, the 5th. Barbecue will be at 4, live auction will be at 5 o'clock. So we encourage public to come out and support the 4-H kids. They will be there all 3 days. You're free to walk through the barn, see their animals. It's probably the best thing we do in 4-H is that interaction that the kids get to have with the public. Showing people their animals, their hard work. They've been working on this all year, and so this is kind of their pinnacle event. And they will have their normal static displays as well. So anything the kids have made through the years, their quilts, their jams, their artwork, their photography, all of that will be available here in Newport. The bulk of the fair will be at Chinook Winds Casino up in Lincoln City this year, which is super exciting. We've been working with them the last couple months to kind of get everything pulled together. It's been a labor of love for both of us, I think. They've not done an event at this scale on their facility. And so trying to fit a rodeo into a casino has been an adventure. So we will have our full NPRA rodeo Friday the 4th, so 4th of July rodeo, which will be super fun. And then Saturday the 5th, both will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of for several reasons. We're trying to accommodate one of our vendors because they have several rodeos going on that weekend. We call it Cowboy Christmas, if no one's aware. In the state of Oregon, there's about 8 to 10 different rodeos going on. And so the cowboys or the competitors are traveling from rodeo to rodeo. And so in order for two things, we can have our normal vendor that we have for our cattle and that the cowboys can hit as many events as they can. We did change our times this year. So 1 o'clock matinee performances both days. We are going to have bouncy houses, camel rides, food trucks, open class, as many traditional fair things that we do here in Lincoln County at the casino. It'll be on a little bit of a smaller scale because even though it's a great facility, it's not quite as large as what we have available at the fairgrounds. We are still taking open class exhibits. So if you are a crafter, you do preservation, artwork, all of that. We're going to do we're going to do a satellite drop off here in Newport for the folks that are more central. And then we will take everything up to the casino and then we will do drop off at the casino as well. All of this, I know this is a lot of information, is on our website,
Could you pull that up? Yeah.
lincolncountyfair.com. So as things are getting finalized, I'm continually updating that. I do not have the music schedule up yet. I'm still working with our entertainment director to get that finalized, but we will have live music like we normally do at fair. The fair itself is a free event. We do charge admission for rodeo. Tickets are available online currently for the rodeo. But we are super excited, and I just want to give a big thank you to the county for allowing me to plan this at the casino. It's a big ask, a big lift for you guys to be able to get things moved up there. So I have the facility to be able to till till their lot that they gave us and get all of the paneling so that the public is safe and all of that up there at the casino. And also the casino, they have been amazing to work with. They're super excited to host us, and they have been very accommodating to what we're bringing them. When they're like, "Well, what are you gonna do with the Cowboys?" I'm like, "You will find out what we're gonna do with those Cowboys." So it'll be a super fun event, and I encourage people to come out and join us.
Hey, thank you for acknowledging our facilities team. They're part of this organization that really aren't public facing at all, but they're great folks, maintaining all of our buildings and facilities and also stepping in for things like this.
Yeah.
Further comments, questions from my fellow commissioners?
Yeah, please. Kenneth has pulled up the website, Heather. And you said, you're receiving some enthusiasm, and I'm getting questions too, especially for North County about how they can be involved. I think this is great. Just on the open class there, Ken, Heather, so this is any time constraints here on getting those submissions in and any recommendations for first timers?
They are currently taking online submissions, so it'll just expedite the process when you come in to drop off your items, but we will take walk-ins. So if you're still working on that quilt and you're not sure if you're gonna get it finished by fair, you can bring it day of. The dates are there. The Saturday dates, are gonna be here in Newport at the extension office. And then the Sunday will be up at the casino in the convention center. But no, you can walk in. We do not charge entry fees or anything like that. And then if you you walk away with a lovely blue or red, white, pink. We have all kinds of beautiful ribbons. So no restrictions. And it's youth, adults, and anybody in Lincoln County is eligible to enter.
Awesome. And Heather, I see on the contact there, you have some volunteer information. Any thoughts on volunteers and what you're
Oh
looking
my
for?
gosh. It's not gonna be as volunteer heavy as normal because of the casino. They have a full staff that we're not used to, which has kind of been interesting for me
Mhm.
this year. But we can always use volunteers. We do ticket our rodeo, so ticket takers at the rodeo. If you're brave enough, we do need people to help move those cattle after the events are through. We move them through chutes and get them back into pens, things like that.
Okay.
We always need help keeping the grounds clean, even though they have a full team. We will be spread thin for them, and so I always need people to help kind of just keep trash picked up and keep the grounds looking nice. Um, Anything and everything. But yes, there is a volunteer interest form. Please fill that out and then we'll get back to you about information. We will have a volunteer orientation the Wednesday prior to fair at the extension office, just to go over county requirements. and things like
Wednesday
that.
prior to fair. And you'll learn how to move cattle possibly.
If you want, if you want.
Well, I just want to echo Commissioner Hall's comments too. Thanks to facilities, thanks to you and everybody making this possible. It's different. I think it's exciting that it's different. And hopefully we'll get some engagement up north, maybe for folks that didn't always feel like they wanted to travel on that weekend. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and businesses have been very receptive as well. Like we did a big reach out to the North County businesses and they're excited to host us as well. So,
Great.
making different relationships for our event has been phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
So,
Win-win there.
yeah,
Thank you, Heather.
definitely.
Commissioner Chuck?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you and the Fair Board for all your hard work. And, I look forward to participating and going to the event. And also just thanks to Shigna Quinns for hosting and providing support and looking forward to a successful event. So thank you for all your hard work and for everybody.
Yeah, and
Great.
again, everybody, please join us. We will be up there celebrating Lincoln County. So,
Wonderful. And of course, just for further context, for anybody who isn't aware, that this has been developed as a very creative solution to the fact that we have begun the renovations of the commons here in Newport. And, we understand we might be able to be back next year, but more likely we'll be looking at a model like this again next year.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that you know, everything goes well with the casino and they'll be hosting us again next year. But it's kind of a we will, you know, I don't know what it's gonna look like, honestly. So it'll be fun to find out as we go. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be in North County. I'm excited to reach a different demographic of people, and just let people know that the county fair is still here and we're gonna, you know, keep up with the tradition that's been going for, I don't know, over 100 years in Lincoln County. I think we've had a fair.
Yeah,
So
1908 was the first fair.
yeah.
Chair Hall.
Yes.
Just one question for Heather. The posters, can we get them?
So they're coming on Saturday. The casino is currently printing them today, but I do have a handful of my printer just doesn't do the bleeds as nicely, so it doesn't print as nicely. But I did bring a small handful to kind of post up here in the commission office, and the nice fancy nice thick beautiful plastic or paper will be coming Saturday. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Casey McEnany, who is a local high school the art teacher in the high
That's-
school, he's designed them for the last 10 years. So it's kind of a tradition that he does the artwork for us.
Very cool. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I hopefully will see you all at fair.
Oh, definitely. We are now at the time of the agenda for public comment. If you're in the room and want to offer public comment, we ask that you sign in on the sign-in sheet at the media table. And I believe we had a couple of written public comments, which have been provided to us and are part of the meeting packet. And now let's see if there is anybody online who wishes to offer public comment. If so, use the raise hand function on Zoom.
Looks like it's all employees and media.
Okay, all right. So let's bring forward the sign-up sheet. And again, you know, generally, we do not engage in dialogue as part of the meeting. You have your say, and if there's something we need to follow up on, we will be in touch afterwards. So, Cindy from Depot Bay, I don't want to mangle your name. Chufo, okay. And we do have a time limit of 3 minutes, but let's welcome.
Okay. Thank you. This is my first time appearing up here in front of you. Cindy Chufo from Depot Bay, Oregon, and I've been to county commissioner office, meetings, public meetings, city councils, other kind of meetings from in California and back in Illinois when I lived there. And last 2 weeks ago was the first time I came to this county commissioner's presentation or meeting. And I have to say that I've served as president of organizations. I have watched people serve, and I have to say I was very disappointed in some of the behavior and reactions that I have never experienced any leader of a meeting ever eating during a meeting, though I had a gentleman asked to eat while we were meeting one time, and I excused him from the room to finish his meal because the smells are offensive while you're trying to meet, and you can't focus on the meeting. And so whenever there's food needing to be partake, if it's not going to be for everybody, you just simply don't lead during that time. Perhaps ask somebody else to lead rather than being offensive to the people. And I was also concerned when there was the public hearing and there were some things being said that people don't necessarily like to hear, but we get the right to hear it and we get to speak it and you get to hear it here in our public United States of America. And I do believe that closing a meeting abruptly and then coming down into the audience was very threatening. I felt that there was a physical presence and also verbal abuse going on, and I was very offended by that. I was appalled, really. I've not ever experienced that before. And I would like to see an apology to that audience for that behavior whenever that person feels ready to do that. And that I think that there needs to be some counseling on that because that is something, I'm a retired RN, and that when you have behaviors like that and outbursts, I believe that people should be getting some assistance in their behavior at public meetings. I've been to many public meetings, and I've never experienced that before. And I want to bring it to your attention now when I first see it. I don't want to wait to see if it's going to happen again. I think that it always should be brought to your attention, and so that it can be addressed and that we will not have to experience it again. And I appreciate your attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty Green? Welcome.
Hello, my name is
Patty.
Patty Green. I spoke a couple weeks ago about my property on the Sluts River. I haven't heard from anybody. I don't know who to contact, so I'm back here today to speak to you again about my property. It sits on the other side of the river, so to get to my property, you need a boat. It's 50 by 100. So when they built these properties across the river on the Sluts Highway, the county bought a piece of property and built what's called Tober Road. It literally sits across the river. So the people that bought that have put up a do not trespass, and it is Tober Road that goes right to the Sluts River. So my understanding, since I'm having problems even turning, I'd like to turn my property, if you're not gonna let me have a residential like it states, maybe recreational, so we can at least enjoy the property. The entrance to the property, not the entrance, but the right of way you sold or bought from the lady across the street, her great grandfather in 1936. Turned it into a public access road forever to the Sluts River. Somehow, the county, the state, let these people that you bought the road from put a dock in front of the whole 60-foot access. So now every time I go down there, or any of my family and everybody, these people come out and attack us, literally screaming, yelling. One of them is an ex-county sheriff. He's called the police on us. The sheriff came down and said, no, she has every right to be here. In fact, the state has told them, your dock is in the wrong place. Who gave you permission to put this dock of yours in the whole Sluts River 60-foot right of way? So you can't go and even fish there. You can go there and park and look at their dock, or I can look across, but I'm not supposed to fish or get in the water there. Well, because you can't, because somebody let them build a dock in front of the county property. So I would like to figure out why they have a no and they literally, every time we go down there, from all my family members to people that have looked at the property, my property to buy, she comes down screaming, and so does the retired sheriff, to get off the property. I literally have to post on my truck window the statement where they sold the property, and it is a forever public access. And that's why the sheriff didn't arrest me when he came down, when they called the police and I was on the property. He let me show him the paper. He said, I will never be back. I'm so sorry. This, you're gonna have to fight with the county, the state.
Okay, we're at 3 minutes.
Okay.
We've got
So
your
who would
contact
we
information.
contact?
If you'll hang out just a little bit, I'll come talk to you after the meeting.
Oh, perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Betty McLean?
Actually, it's McCain. They
Oh, I'm sorry.
added me a long time ago. Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, I'd like to know why it is we don't address the flag and salute it in a public building with the Pledge of Allegiance. Just my question. According to the FBI, domestic terrorism encompasses violent criminal acts an individual or groups use to further their ideology, goals from political, social, racial, or environmental influences within the country's borders. These acts appear to be intended to intimidate or coerce civilian populations, influence the policy of a government, or by intimidation or coercion. Affect the conduct of a government, racially or ethnically motivated, anti-government, animal rights, abortions, and agendas such as personal grievances or biases related to religion, gender, or sexual orientation. It's my understanding that this commission wants to limit public testimony. I deem that coercion. We have a right. We're Americans. We pay taxes. We live in this community. We have a right to speak. Any attempt to subvert that is criminal. And I'll hold you all accountable to that. I've talked to you several times, Mr. Litt, by mail. Glad to see you, Casey Miller. This is my first time talking to you guys, but I'm really upset with what's going on with this commission, and I want you to know it. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Hutchins?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the first time for me also at a Commissioners meeting. I've attended city meetings. I would like to ask why it is that our hard-earned tax dollars are being spent renting a space for Commissioner Miller outside of the regular office space. As we've already spent more tax dollars on a lawyer that has cleared Commissioner Miller of the clearly ridiculous bullying charges. Also, why is it that Commissioner Miller offered to assist in handling admin duties and was overruled by Commissioner Hall? I am seeing a level of arrogance from Commissioner Hall that I find very hard to accept, especially being you only received 115 votes more during the election. And you made a statement at that time that was in the press that you were surprised by that and that you would look inside yourself. However, the attempt to shut down our right to free speech is showing further arrogance by not respecting the voices of the people that did or did not vote for you. So please stop this arrogance, as it has no place in county government. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your input. And Barbara Davis.
Morning,
Good
Good morning.
and happy Pride Month, everyone. On April 28th, I sent a letter by email to the Board of Commissioners with multiple questions. I received no response. On May 21st, I attended the Board of Commissioners meeting. I read excerpts from that letter to the Board of Commissioners during the public comment period. I requested a follow-up response. I received none. So here I am again today posing my questions, and again, I request a follow-up response from the county commissioners. I pay upwards of $3,800 per year in property tax. Yet despite dutifully paying my taxes each year, I have not received a response from the people whose salaries I pay with my taxes. I feel like I'm in a democracy theme park where I'm speaking into a microphone that is not even plugged in and no one is listening anyway. I'm checking a box on my voter's ballot that doesn't matter because the county will treat an elected official any way it likes, stretching the law to justify its actions. My questions: why is it that a democratically elected commissioner has, without his consent, been denied access to his office? And more of my tax dollars are to pay for a rented off-site office that is completely unnecessary. On whose authority was that decision made? Exactly what is the legal basis for that decision? These are valid questions. Would employing an independent mediator to bring all parties to the table be a better use of our tax dollars than renting an off-site office while Commissioner Miller's office sits empty? Article 1, Section 1 of the Oregon Constitution states, quote, "All power is inherent in the people and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. And they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper." I am not looking to abolish the Lincoln County government, but I believe that you owe it to the people to answer these simple questions. I would like a follow-up response to my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, that brings us to a close of the list of folks who have signed in. Is there anybody who didn't sign in would like an opportunity? Okay, and Mr. Lip? You could-
Do you need my name?
Yes.
My name is Michael Morse. My first time also, but
Mhm,
a few of you know who I am.
mhm.
I'm in agreement with the people that have spoke here today also. I was gonna let them and their voices be heard, but I have to agree, wasn't here with the last meeting, but from what I hear, this is very unprofessional behavior in a very professional setting. Also, what they're saying of being not heard or any responses, I've experienced the same thing from many people on this board and other employees or executives within Lincoln County. That is to give no response to anything, no phone calls, messages through those or emails. I've experienced the same thing. The people are waking up in this county, and we're paying attention because there's a lot of changes in our country happening. There's a lot of division, and as you and I have spoke, about this in good length. I am a person that wants to bridge the gap between you guys and us, because what we feel is that beyond this table, we have no words, we have no say-so, and it is going to be what you guys say, and that's it. But we do have the power, and we're trying to take that back, and we are putting that power and trust into you guys. Unfortunately, on a number of occasions, I have not been receiving any callbacks, any messages. I reached out to you on a few of occasions over the months and have had nothing, which is disappointing. But and nonetheless, I've found other avenues to get my voice heard within the county. My first time speaking here also won't be my last, but we are getting upset with what we're seeing at this table, and it has to stop. We don't want to pay for him to be in a different office. We want him to be representing in this office as per his job. We don't want to pay for that. Everybody, I think, the lady that just spoke before me, I don't think we see eye to eye on everything, but we definitely agree. I don't know who she is, but we agree on this subject. And that is to get all of our officials together and on the same page, then you can better represent us. You can do your jobs better instead of maybe spending it on social media, on other people's sites, badgering other people, disagreeing with other people. Maybe we can spend more time in our offices doing our jobs, not online on other people's sites and trolling them. That would maybe be a better time spent representing us. At this point, we just expect more. And we're trying to hold you guys accountable and let you know, not disrespectfully, but from what I hear, the last meeting was very disrespectful to us, which is why I'm here today.
All right, we're at time. Thank you for your input,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Morris.
Have a great day.
Okay. And there is no other business on our agenda. So at this point, we will adjourn the next regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners 2 weeks from today, June 18th. And after that, we have 2 July meetings on the 2nd and the 16th. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.